Okay, well, let's jump into our work here for Module 3, and we'll start with the required reading of the week. This module is something a little different. There's also a video that I ask you to watch, very short, about 90 seconds. Now I'm going to jump into the course site here just to talk about the readings for a moment. Now, as I say there in the presentation, for the one long reading, which is this first one, Introduction to Personas, I actually give two ways for you to access it. One is the web page, obviously. Second one is a PDF version of the reading. For me, I actually have found this helpful to print this reading out, keep it next to me as I'm thinking about the assignment to develop personas, keep some notes on it, maybe read it 2 or 3 times during the week. Again, this is just a personal preference. I found this particular reading assignment was one that would be helpful, that I had printed out, could write on it, make notes, and refer to it as I did the actual assignment. One other note I want to add on the readings for this week. As you can imagine, I give you a very small fraction of the great readings that are available on the topics that I can find on the web each week. This one, though, this week, I actually want to point you to a resource that includes a lot of additional information on personas should you want more information. Now, as you can see, the second assignment here is the video, which is the video of a man named Alan Cooper discussing personas. That's important because he is the person credited with basically inventing the use of personas in website design and strategy. Alan Cooper runs a web design and strategy firm titled, or called appropriately enough, Cooper. If you Google Cooper personas, one of the first links you'll get is this one here, cooper.com/journal/personas, which is just the tag page of on their blog of the postings about personas. And when you go to this page, you will see it easily links you to 5 or 6 articles about personas. All are about this length, which is to say not very long. Great, useful information. I don't require all of this reading because I think there's a lot of work for this module. But if you did want additional information on personas, this is an excellent spot to go. So with that said, why don't we talk about personas themselves? Now, one of the reading assignments that I give you is actually just this example of a persona that I have created in line with the assignment for this week, which asks you to create 3 personas for a college website. Your persona should have a first name and some type of an overview general title that will give me a sense of who they are, or what is their connection to the college. It could be a major donor, it could be an active alum, it could be a prospective student, a faculty member. I mean, there are literally dozens and dozens of choices that you can make, but how are they connected to the college website? Why in the world would they be going to that site? You should have a photo to go along with your persona, as well as one pull quote at the top. And this quote, a good way to think of this is, if I read this quote, I will know exactly what this persona is thinking about as it relates to the college website. And then I'd like you to write about a page or so of character backstory on your persona. And I think it's important here just to point out, the more detail you provide on your persona, the more thorough you are, the easier it will be for you to then complete the second assignment for the week, which is analyzing a college website through the eyes of your 3 personas. Now, if any of you write screenplays or fiction of any kind, you're familiar with character backstories, right? And the deeper and more thorough and more detail you provide to a character backstory, the easier it is for you to write for that character. The easier it will be for you to write dialogue for that character, because you are able to think like that character. You sort of know what they would say next because you develop this rich backstory. You know where they're coming from. You know how they think. The same could be said for website personas, and that's the reason why they exist. You really want to understand. You want to be able to look through the eyes of this other person. The second assignment then for the week, I tease it a little bit, but we'll go into a bit more detail for our college website, is what I want you to do is I provide a list of about 10 or so colleges that I'd like you to choose from, and analyze those websites through the eyes of your 3 personas. Now, one important tip to keep in mind, as we have written here, is that undergraduate students are not the only ones who look at college websites. Now, all of you may know that, may be aware of that. I'm pointing that out only because in past classes I've had a few students who didn't seem to realize that, and it really impacted the quality of their work and really how they were able to complete the assignment. So I just want to make sure that we point that out. And again, this second point, worth repeating. View the site through the eyes of your personas. I don't want to know necessarily what each of you think about the college websites, but I want to know what each of your 3 personas thinks about the college website. This is a bit of a different assignment. I mean, this is one that I'd be surprised if more than a small handful of you have had experience with in the past, creating personas and analyzing websites from their perspectives. So please don't be shy to get in touch with me this week and ask questions to talk about this one, because it's tricky, but it's really important. This is a tactic that you will use not only for the remainder of the semester, but I would argue for the remainder of your careers as digital media professionals. I know it's something that I use quite frequently. I may not always be developing personas as formal as they are in the assignments for this week. I might just be sketching down names and backgrounds on a piece of scrap paper next to me as I'm brainstorming. But it is something that I do find very useful because, again, it allows you to take a very different perspective on your web strategy, on your web design, than just thinking about how you might do something. So I think that pretty much covers us for the week. From what I've seen so far in Module 2, I haven't started grading. I just looked through some of the blog posts. Excellent work continues. Key thing this week, though, as I mentioned, do not hesitate to get in touch with me throughout the week because this assignment might be tricky for some of you. That's it. I will talk to you all soon. Take care.